Great, okay. So again, welcome to the Writers Network, Metro North Reading. We're introducing speakers and people that are in the room. Where did we get to? I think we went on.
Megan.
We got to Megan. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks everybody at home for being with us.
Right. Yes, so my name is Megan and I teach 8th grade English, and I currently write for teens or young adult authors or young adult audience, but my focus is in the Christian devotional space. So I'm reaching out to United House Publishing, which is a local hybrid publishing. So that's kind of where I am. I finally came to the point where enough was enough. I needed to take that jump. And so I'm excited about that. So thank you for having me.
Did she leave?
Okay.
I met Lindsay in April at Posing the Park, and I just couldn't wait to share a part of her story, which basically parallels my story, The Second Chance. It's about a rescue dog, and of course, a black dog, and how, uses the eyes to lure you in. So I had to have her here. So Lindsay Longwist, can you please come?
I'm so excited to be here, everyone. So I appreciate everyone having me here. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask. I'm here to support you all and answer your questions. So I wrote The Adventures of Finding Forever. The goal is for this to be a series. So book 2 is
Step back.
Dog Willow. What was that?
Step back.
Step back.
Voice. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I wrote this and published it last year. It probably took a couple years for the whole entire publishing process, switching illustrators, dealing with the publisher itself was just a whole process in and of itself. So going through that for my first couple years was very challenging. I'm sure many of you have experienced that publishing process. So the goal of The Adventures of Willow is to really help to start teach kids that traditional learning, incorporating a lot of different emotions along the way. So as Willow goes through her journey to finding her forever home, she's going to encounter many different obstacles, many different emotions, and at the end, she does find her forever person. So the goal of this is to set the premise for the future books as Willow goes on many different adventures to help teach kids how to overcome different obstacles, how to build friendship. Maybe Willow's going to go to the park and meet a variety of different dogs and animals and encounter different people throughout. So I guess a little bit of background, I am a behavior analyst. I never thought I would be a writer. I write behavior plans all the time, but I never thought I would actually be pushed to be a writer and an author. I write social stories, and I had a student who's a PhD, and she's a children's book author, Dr. Kimberly Johnson. And she pushed me to start writing books. She's like, just do it, just do it, just do it. So here we are. After 2 years of working with her, we were able to get the book out and just to really help develop the skills to teach these kids how to manage and cope with their emotions embedded in a story that kids love dogs, most of them.
That's good.
Does anyone have any questions? My name's Lindsay. Lindsay. I found her through Fiverr. I actually started with one, and the illustrations just were not coming together. I almost just completely disregarded the process. And I was pushed to keep going. I took a break for a couple months, and I ended up finding her. She had a wait list, but she did the cover illustration for me. And after seeing that, I was like, I'm gonna wait, and it all came together. So she's getting ready to start book 2, hopefully by the end of summer. So all the editing and everything is done. It's just waiting on her to be available to start it. Yes, I agree. It completely changed the trajectory of the book too.
And so you've been writing this book about a year and a half.
I think it was about a year and a half. So the writing itself didn't necessarily take that long. It was the publishing and the illustrations and all of that. So long process. Technically, that was supposed to be a part of the publisher's job, and that's something I'm battling with currently. I can't speak too much on that, but there's a lot of editing errors that I'm trying to go back and fix because the publisher's editor did not actually do what they were supposed to do. So I caught errors before it was sent to printing, and then
So it's super horrible. I couldn't read out loud. And I thought about very intriguing. But how is that?
marketing, starting to do different events just around Charlotte where I can. It's gotten a lot out, but there is still, the pros and cons because there's vendor fees. I was supposed to have all the copies of the book last June, but I didn't actually get them until October. So I missed all of the events, like Christmas events and things like that. So when I started in January, and that is not a good time to market books. Right after the holidays, it's cold outside. Nobody wants to go and buy books or anything at that point in time. But just kind of learning when people are looking for books. I do have an Instagram page specifically for the Adventures of Willow series. So that's been helping with some marketing as well. Tied to my website because I am a behavior analyst and I own my own behavior analysis. Providing therapy to children, adolescents, young adults. So through there, I'm also marketing to a lot of colleagues and coworkers. I am trying. So I've gotten into some schools recently. It's very hard to get responses back from the schools, but I was successful with connecting with an elementary school teacher, and she set up book readings for all six of the kindergarten classes within that one school. She sent out a permission slip that was like, I'm going to purchase the book and the coloring book, or I'm not going to purchase the book ahead of time. So we were able to prepare, and that was a really good hit. I think I had between all 6 classes almost 40 books combined, not including the coloring books. So that is my goal, to start to increase some of that this year.
Yeah, CMS.
Okay.
And my best friend, media at University Park Creative Arts. I don't know what they're doing now, but I know she. First book.
Okay.
They donate. Most because
I love that.
That. Grant. We had to write. And really.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, definitely trying to reach out to the schools as much as I can as August and September approach. Seem to be a good time to book those book readings towards the end of the school year to have a summer resource. I have a reading. Okay.
In marketing.
That makes sense.
And maybe do some.
Yeah.
Like that. As well. It's a big deal.
Yes, exactly. I actually have one tomorrow morning at a daycare over in Fort Mill, so I'm excited for that.
stay on them. And
Okay,
no,
thank you. I appreciate that. I know it's hard to look out there in different marketing. I did have a connection with WSOC, I think, the Charlotte news station. So I had a segment a couple months ago on that as well. So it's been slow, but I know it's sometimes slow and steady when the race. And as it expands and getting the word out, I think that in the support of everybody and finding those connections with other I've been able to connect with other children's book authors, even across the nation. Yes.
at the exhibit case where attendance graduating high school, she's the illustrator. And there's a shop in downtown Mooresville that it's in, the Spanish edition as well. Michelle. And when the school year, that's when I go to the elementary schools and read the book.
Can you talk to them while I fix this? Okay.
Yeah. It's my granddaughter's dog. Her name is Willow.
Rosa, I will have captions. I'll have captions available on the recording. So I understand if you need to leave, don't worry about it.
I was muted. I wanted to say thank you, Vincent. She's good when she stands where you are at. We can hear
What's
her.
that?
We can hear when she stands where you are standing.
Yes.
Not only- Okay,
Very sure.
now-
Okay. What was your question? So I went through an independent publisher, but she didn't do much, essentially. So I'm not sure because she technically was the one that was supposed to do everything. So not me. I was just in charge of supplying everything. Yeah. Mhm. It was pretty much self-published, but Mhm. Mhm. I had already started thinking about it. I think me just being a behavior analyst, there's so many different contexts and different situations where kids need to learn. So I was like, okay, well, I was going to go to the vet. We're going to work on, those feelings surrounding the doctor's visits for kids or potty training or, play dates at the park and teaching and welcome home or, going to bed. So there's so many different ways that as Willow's going through her adventures, kids are also going through similar adventures in a different way. And sometimes when kids connect with humans, they don't really get as much, it's just like their parents going to tell them what to do. They're more likely to take it from an outside source. And since they connect sometimes more with animals, I figured incorporating the animals into the story. I will also have like generational learning in here as well. So the girl who adopts her is more of an adolescent and her mom's going to be in the picture as well to really guide her on how to teach Willow through Lily's frustrations as well. You're welcome.
If anyone wants to purchase a book, she's available. But meantime, we're short on books.
Thank you, Lindsay. In meantime, does anyone have the 5 words written? Do you wanna come to podium? Because you can't hear. You can't hear. Yeah, and then I'll go after you.
While we were waiting to start, oh, where am I? Oh. So if I see myself in here, they're gonna see what I see? Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. So the 5 words were haste, hands, loaf, border, and pilot. Okay. Zinni, a retired pilot, was now a broken down, mediocre baker. He had just pulled something out of the smoking oven. He was a lazy man, much like his blind dog, Brutus, a border collie. The loaf of bread was burned, and he was grateful he had lost his taste after COVID. Don't bite the hands that feed you, Brutus. Let's eat.
Okay, anyone else has the 5 words from? No? Okay, I guess it's my turn. Okay, I put basically just a loaf of bread. Reflection of my life. On a cloudy day, I looked up at the sky and had a vivid memory from my past. The 2 words my little sister expressed when she was hungry left an impression when I went to bed starving. Growing up, it became a daily challenge. When I realized my stomach was still growling, I asked mother for a day to purchase a loaf of bread. In the corner of the street, I stood up and looked for cars. Once the vehicles passed my side, I came across and stepped on the sidewalk. At the time, all that I could think of was to make it on time before the store ran out of food. In a rush, I stepped up the stairs and entered the bread shop. The smell of baked bread suddenly took away my hunger. My eyes were wide open on a particular round shape that was displayed on the top shelf. As I reached closer to the countertop, I raised my hand and pointed at the baked dough with no border. In my left hand, I held the exact change in exchange for the last piece of bread. On a sunny sky, mother stepped in the front yard and set the table. On a white tablecloth, she placed one of many specialties, homemade butter next to a vase of flowers. Father arrived at home and sliced for each of us a small piece, staple of life. At the other side of the oblong table, mother spread a thin layer of butter on a flat bread and placed our meal in a serving dish. Right away, I stepped closer to the side of food and picked a slice of crusty Romanian bread. As I swallowed my last piece of soft texture, I enjoyed the flavor of the salty and creamy buttery filling of my daily meal. The way I write, I give little pieces that's going to be to my next book and the following book. So it's a little blurb out there to make a statement. So it will be coming through the years. That's how I write. Do you have any 5 words that you could share?
I do not tonight.
No? William Cottrell, no?
No, I'm sorry. No,
No? Okay.
no. Sorry, no. Sorry.
Okay. Tom, would you like to come up to the podium
I'll give it a shot.
and share your next?
If I can see myself. Cool. I've put together just some tips on how I edit and the examples that I handed out to people. And for those of you that really can't see it, but
I can
that's a
see it.
sheet of, where's the camera? Oh, there's up there. Anyhow, this is to the group in the room. This is it's a list of weak words. This is just side one. There's side one and side two. And weak words are words like had, somebody, maybe, perhaps, so on and so forth, that you not want to use at all or very rarely when you're writing prose. So this is my weak word master for an essay of, actually an anthology of 35,000 words. So the example that I gave you here today is the word had. So I ran a word search in Microsoft Word, and I believe I came up with 78 times I used the word had out of 35,000, which doesn't sound like many. Had's not a good word. You know, I had a great time last night. I enjoyed myself last night. Get rid of the word had and put in the word enjoy. Boom, it's better. So there's probably 200 words on here, and the words that are handwritten are the words I figured I needed to double check using a thesaurus in this anthology that I put together of 35,000 words. So you can see I've added a lot. So even though you might use a word 8 times, maybe it should never be used at all. So in using this, this is one of the ways in which I edit a word search for weak words. I will go through sentence by sentence by sentence in editing my essays. So if you're reading your story, you tend to know where it's going, and you probably read too quick to miss what's in what you've written. Going one sentence at a time, that's all I care about. That one sentence, how good is the grammar? How good is the punctuation? How accurate are the words? How exciting, how enjoyable are the words? Then I jump to another sentence. It might be 3 paragraphs later for the word had. I read each individual sentence, perhaps as many times as there's words in that sentence. If that sentence has got 8 words, maybe I'm checking 6 of those 8 words. I'm constantly, over the course of over months that this exercise takes. I'm reading and rereading and reading each sentence. And often I find that the idea is great, but then I've got a little parenthetical phrase at the end of the sentence. I don't need it. That gets deleted. So I found, and another tip that those folks that are here can see in this sheet here, on the left side is a picture of my screen. And this was for the word had. On the right side is a picture of a thesaurus for the word had. So I'm lucky I got like a 27-inch screen, so it's really big. I can do 2 full pages side by side. If you don't, you can have your words, your essay on your PC or your Mac, and then you can use your tablet and have your thesaurus on that and have them side by side as you go through. Here, you see I've highlighted some a couple sentences in red. When I'm editing and I get to a sentence or a paragraph and I just don't like it, it's not making it, but I can't figure out what to do with it. I'll highlight it in red and then move on. I don't let it ruin my day or anything like that. Maybe 5 or 6 days later or 5 or 6 weeks later, when I'm rereading that paragraph or that sentence, now I know what to do with it. I change it, take the red and turn it to black. So this particular essay probably had about, at one point, 50 or 60 different paragraphs or sentences highlighted in red that I just could not solve, but I knew they were not good enough to be in the final copy of what I will publish. And one by one by one, I get rid of the red, and now I'm happy with that particular sentence. So it's a very rote process, over and over and over, reading, rereading every word that you wrote, so you're happy with every sentence. Can it stand on its own? Does it have the proper words? And it's probably the longest and most tedious part of editing that I do. Simply a read through is a lot of fun, but I only do the read through, which might be 4 or 5 times after I've gone through the exercise of getting rid of virtually all of the bad words or adding better words. Any questions from the group here? Hi, Bill.
Hi, yeah,
Hi, I caught you.
Yeah. I'm reading your
Rosa.
book.
Any questions or? What? Oh, thank you. I
Yes,
can't hear. I don't
can
know.
can I get a copy of that list of bad words?
Yeah, I'll send it to Vince. He'll make it out there.
Oh, great.
It's called weak words.
Weak
And
words.
yeah, they're just weak words. And the weak
Okay.
words will vary. There's a core in the English language, and I'll do a new master every time I'm doing a new work and add new words to the master for the new work. So for every single thing I've written, there's a different weak words list of words. Repetitive.
Neat.
Oh, because I don't want to give away the tale. Because there's a man and a woman, and she's on her deathbed, and her husband, you assume it's her husband, is with her. It's very tender. They're kissing to the very last breath that she takes. When I use the word, and then I used that she was in a morgue, but then I couldn't have had her in a bed and a guy talking to her. So I use the word casket because the casket comes after the death scene. A morgue, you're not having it comes before you go to the bed. Anyhow, maybe you could send that out to the group. It's only a page and a half. It's called A Breath of a Kiss.
Okay.
I think it's good. I mean, sort of describing a 1 minute or 30-second segment in the life of a man and a woman as a woman's life passes away.
To me, it's so like
Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Well, no. No, I only do this when I'm finished writing what I'm writing. I'm finished. I got the beginning, I got the middle, I got the end, I got the climax, I got the characters, everything's done. So it's a totally separate process. And I have found that and the things that I've written, I rarely change any of the context of the story. You nail the story. Nailing the story up front is the easy process. It's the fun process. This is just the road stuff, but they're two totally separate processes. A good question.
you've got.
That's
No, NCWN 43. So you have 43.
I have 43, right? Correct. And it's I have to be aware of, like, let's say use probably and possibly. I mean, you can't move from one to the other. You can't get rid of probably and put in possibly, or you can't get rid of probably and put in likely. Then you're just using the same bad words. It literally forces me to rewrite that sentence, or to come up with out of the thesaurus a synonym that I hadn't even thought of. Oh, why didn't I think of that word? You drop that word in. And that's this sort of, I do that for my own benefit. Here's how many I started with, times used, and here's how many I've reduced it to. Thank you. Any other questions or am I cool? We're cool.
Who gave you, who
Thanks
gave
for
you the
listening.
list? Who gave him the list?
Oh, I saw it online,
Ah, okay.
but then I'm not, actually, no. You can go online and find weak words like 20 or 30. And now
Ah.
I've got about 200 or 300. You just sort of do
Okay.
your own.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The captions finally came back on, Rosa. Thank goodness gracious. This technology is the hardest part of it all. It is really.
You're doing good, Vincent.
Well, we got a new place, so thanks to Christina, we found this location here in the Chevy dealership, and thanks to the people here at Minot that actually made it available. We found out going forward that at the senior center where we normally meet, 4 times a year going forward, they are going to shut down for a week at 5 o'clock. So that happens to be the 4th week of the month. Maintenance, whatever they're doing over there. So 4 times out of the year, we could probably come right back here. And because we're not in a public facility, we can bring food, which courtesy of Christina today, they brought some wonderful food and dessert and all of that good stuff. When we get back to the meeting next month at the senior center, just water. Okay, so I'm sorry. It is what it is, you know, public service and all that kind of good stuff. But we'll meet next month, the 4th Thursday of the month, back at the senior center, which is just a few miles up the road. And usual time, 6:30, we'll have the hybrid meeting. We'll know that the technology works up there. I am encouraged to remind everybody, if you don't already belong to the North Carolina Writers Network, that you might want to join. It's whatever, I've got some forms in here. It's not very much every year. And that allows you to get discount pricing and participate in the meetings that are held by the state. These meetings here at the regional level are free. You know, come up and bring a friend and have fun, and it's a writer's night out. When you get to some of the professional sessions that they have at the, like the Squires Institute that's coming up, I believe, next month, I think. You know, or if you're going to the convention, they had a conference that you went to, I believe, Christina, in university. They have authors, editors, you know, graphic designers, all of those kind of resources available for that registration. That doesn't mean we can't do that here next month in July. Thanks to Tom, we have an editor who's going to come in here and give us some of the finer points of editing, regardless of whether you're doing poetry, a novella, or a short story, whatever it is. Same general rules apply. So we'll have that available. There'll be more in the newsletter about that. Are you all getting the newsletter? If you are, can you raise your hand? Yeah, the newsletter. If you're getting the newsletter. And the reason I'm asking that of you is that in February, the newsletter, which we use, the program we use is called Mailer Lite. And Mailer Lite is now conforming to regulations by Yahoo and Google, which require some kind of authentication. And even with the authentication, sometimes that mail, that newsletter ends up in your spam folder, which is why I sent you, like, I sent some of you individually. If you send the newsletter out to a group, we have like 150 people on that newsletter list, chances are it's going to go into spam unless you train your email to accept it as a recognized address, which I think is Vincent Veza, something like that at Carolina Writers Night Out or something like that. So, but there will be a newsletter a week or so ahead of time, so be on the lookout for that. So, I want to thank Christina for hosting this meeting last month. I was at a celebration, a birthday celebration. My daughter turned 50 and she threw herself a party and I had to go. We had a lot of fun up there. I'm going to try to be back here for each of these meetings. We've had some celebrations in the last month. We've had some hardships. I know that you lost mom. we've lost people. We've had people be sick. We've had people facing challenges. So pray for them. As we meet in the senior center, for those of you who are under 50 years old, sometimes people are off put by the fact that they're going to a writers' meeting in a senior center. When we started the group, a lot of the people who started the group are seniors. Some of those seniors are no longer alive. Some of those seniors are in a nursing home. Some of those seniors are bedridden or they're homebound and so forth. There's still a couple of us in the room. Yeah, it was. So, but I am so pleased to see younger people in this room. So you guys, ladies, are get ready to take over the world. Write your stories. We're writing our stories, and whether it's Brutus the Junkyard Dog or whatever the story happens to be, but it's your turn now. So, no, we're not quitting. We don't quit till we even after we leave, the work stays on, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard that, Rose. Thanks. Yeah, I heard that. You can't hide on Zoom. I know that there's some stuff going on tonight that we're all anxious to get to. So we'll sort of end this meeting a little bit early, but before we do, is there anyone out here that has any announcements they want to make, anything in their publishing journey that they want to share? Yes, no, maybe.
My older sister, the children's.
Oh, you have to come up here and share this story. Yes. Yeah. This is not about, this is about your sister who I had the privilege of getting published.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have an older sister that lives in Pennsylvania, and she wrote a book. She was a school teacher for her career, and she wrote a book in 1972. And at that time, she sent it to publishers, and of course, they were like, "No, we have to call you, not you call us," that type of thing. So when Brutus came alive and was published, she said, "Do you think Vincent would help me?" And she has now published her first book. ABC Kids is the name of it. And it's about each letter of the alphabet has a child's name that is not ordinary. And so her idea was diversity. So she's got Caucasian and African American and American Indian and Asian and Indian. Indian. And it's been successful. She's gone to several schools already reading this book to kindergartners, and that's what she had her career in. And she now has one in writing for shapes and one in writing for colors. The same idea. One for each letter of the alphabet. She has a page and pictures. So thank you once again, Vincent Visick.
Yeah, that was a joy doing that. Yeah, one day I got a call and said, can you lend your imprint to the book? And I said, well, I'd like to see the book first before I do that. That'd be good. So yeah, there. For those of you who know, there's hybrid publishing. There's self-publishing. If you're going to self-publish, I highly recommend that you use an imprint if you can get one. It lends a different cachet. It means to the reader that someone has actually read your book and actually likes your book. Not necessarily publishing it. I'm not a publisher. I don't do full line publishing. I publish my own stuff. But I do have an imprint, and I do lend that imprint out, as I did with Tom, with several of his books. And so, there's no charge for it, but the only thing I require is that it be professionally edited, that it looks like something I would be proud of and that I'd be proud to put my stamp on, which is called Hidden Treasure Novels, HTN. So if you're looking for that, now I know you have your own imprint. I believe you started your own. Is that correct, if I remember right? Yeah, your first book, right? You had your own imprint, and I know you had your own imprint. So you can create your own imprint. An imprint is an imprint, right? It just that little extra cachet. When you go to Amazon, if you're publishing through Amazon, you're producing through Amazon, you're still the publisher. But when you go to Amazon, if you have on there imprint by Second Chance, as an example, it just one thing. Okay, that somebody's looked at this book. That's something. And usually in the same genre, so close to that. But yeah, so that was a joy. It was a pleasure working with her. She used the same illustrator. Tennis was her illustrator, and she used the same graphic. Jim Nettles, for those of you who remember Jim, so she went that. It's never free, ladies and gentlemen. If you go to a publisher, they'll pay you up front, probably. If your name is Ernest Hemingway, you get a nice advance. But if if the rest of us get in line, and maybe you'll get something, but more chances are greater than not that you'll end up doing a lot of your own editing, or you'll have to hire an editor to make sure it's good. You found this out. That's what I just heard you say. But even publishers is going to give you a royalty check. They don't necessarily provide the full service that they say they're willing to upfront. Some of us like to do it. Yeah, almost for free. Yeah. Well, all of the people in this room, one of the benefits of belonging to a group like this is that before you even get to the editing stage, you can have something called beta readers, right? We all can be beta readers. You don't have to beta read an entire book, but if you divide a book into 25 chapters and each person takes a chapter, then you're getting extra eyeballs on it. And people that you trust, people in this room, people have come to this room before, we're not going to criticize your book. They're going to give you honest feedback. They're going to say, if you just change this a little bit, make a little change there. And I think you all know each other well enough now that you trust each other with that knowledge. So yeah, I encourage you to get on that journey. Barbara, sooner or later, you're going to publish that book. I know you are. I know you are.
I don't think 50
Yeah.
or 100 poems is enough. And I'm finding journals about my that I wrote like found one the other day.
Yeah.
That I years ago, 3 and 4 years. But I haven't figured out how to get started. Like like I said.
Yeah.
But what I'm not criticizing, but thinking of like, okay, this one started a problem. This one started it with a tragedy. This one and none of my life is not started, but I am not for what I want to use to jump off into it.
Well, the recommended, because I'm going to repeat what I had said before in several other meetings, start with a short story and something like Trail Tales in the Senior Savvy, and then go to My Great Choice. 30, yeah, I know, and you're published, right? So then a 32-page book, like what Tom started out with 3, 4, 5 books ago. You don't just jump into a novel. You don't even jump into a novel. Yeah, no, sure. And Amazon is a good conduit for doing that, right? It's a good place to get a 32-page something out there, nicely done, professional cover. They'll help you do the covers. Sherry found out that Amazon provides all these templates. The cover you design was basically Amazon giving you the stuff, and then you personalized it.
Right.
So yeah, sure.
Some of my poems are very deeply emotionally sad for me because they're losing my mom, different things in my life then I've got things that are just like what I've been trying is on my own is write an introduction. This is why at the same time, I'm wondering if that would be necessary because I wrote one time about the principal that I was ready to take her face off because she ruined the whole program we had. Children.
Mhm.
And I read it. And I, she said, "Oh my God, that sounds like the end of my marriage." Copy of that poem. You just described what I want to say in my head.
Mhm.
And it was, see what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
completely. So do you really want to channel it into this is what I wrote it about? You can use it, maybe not. Just leave it individually and let people print it the way they want.
Sure.
Yeah. It's actually a story. It's not a story about my life, how it was for me and my siblings, keeping home for the first time, and the challenges, the difficulties of doing that. And I did it, through poetry. Each poem will tell a piece of that story. Right. See, my kids through, probably 6th grade, 19, all of those guys. Trying to use them for kids. Because they could fire started in the woods. So anything that I got went from 20. I mean, I told I wrote, well, one when I was 11, but then the next one is when I was 21. What next? What I'm saying. And I do have it sort of separated. The chapters. Yeah, and I did this.
Sherry, did you want to come up here and hold it up so the people at home can see it too? Is that okay? I know you don't want to get it. No, because you have to come.
But since you said that, it just, I just.
Cause I'm like, what's the name? I'm petite.
And then you.
I started off and with, I want to address. Yeah,
Yeah.
Cause the main one I started off with, and this is actually part of my street address. And I call it 2 blocks down on 6 East. So I had to do it in a way that I didn't, because the address was actually 621. So I said, I can't use, but I want, but this had to be, this is where it started, 2 blocks down on 6 East. And that's where the story began. And when I presented this to my nieces and nephews, after my dad's funeral, I already had certain sections that I would talk about. And I said, now follow me, go to page 17. On 17, you will find this. So that's how I started, like we didn't follow, like, if I wanted to talk about a certain thing, it's something I wanted them to remember. Especially when I talk about the legacy and what that legacy meant. And so not in any particular order, I go straight from the legacy to I found me, I found myself somewhere out there. And And then there's a story that I shared here with you guys. That was like really, really special. And so anyway, that's how I just did in different things in my life. And it didn't have to necessarily follow chronologically. Yeah, that was my next word. Yeah, so whatever, yeah. And I sort of end with the last walk. I ended with the last walk. And then I even went to a different segment, just about how I transitioned from that journey to finding love with someone for the first time. So that's how I sort of did that. But the one that everyone loved, one that everyone comes back to is 2 blocks down on 66 East. And I was actually on a cruise ship. And it was a writer and author on that cruise ship that was giving a story that was, no, not a story, but she was doing a writing segment for anyone. Because, you know, on a cruise ship, there's all kind of things you can do. And so at the end of this book, because I was about to end my, for me, what I felt like was, this is not going to work. And then through her, I was re-energized, and in the back of my book, I make a note to her, and I said, "Thank you, Julie Wakeman Lynn." I said, "I found you. I found you on that Viking ship. You became my inspiration." Let me get into this. You became my inspiration when I was about to quit writing. Your words of encouragement helped me in the game. I came back here, Vincent, and I was able to do this. Thank you, guys.
One of the, yeah. Oh, be careful. Yes. Sir. Yeah. Yeah. And Barbara, to your point, one thing that she captured is the title of the book. So when your anthology comes out, one word, transitions. That's what captured my imagination. When I first talked to you, I knew you had that book in you because you had that one word. You were able to capture that one word, and that was going to cover a multitude of different situations, right? So yeah, that it did. So,
With you guys, this will be the end of my journey. This has been a very trying year for me. I have decided that we are going to so I mean, there's so much on my plate. You wouldn't believe this. So anyway, with like I said, keep me in the game from the cruise ship to come back here, and
and a story, a book.
The first of many.
And giving my first, because I was planning my first book signing, I ended up having a funeral instead. But I just saw a couple of days ago to my relative. I interviewed yours, Christina, because he wanted to know about it. I've been a baby, like I said, I'm really my dad's house is about to be sold. I'm putting my house in the market next week. We will be first flying to Wilmington. Transition.
Well, as you head to Wilmington, and as we learn how to use this technology, each time you can join our meeting, just like Bill is out here right now, and we'll have other folks that come on. That's the whole benefit of having a hybrid meeting. Just get through these technology bugs, so you're never going to leave us. So you can't. Well, MJ's in Kenya. Let's see. Yeah, we have one husband-wife author team that lives in St. Louis. They moved out. So people are moving all over the place, right? This is America. This is what we do. We get up, pick up, and move on. But we stay connected, and thank God for the internet. And I thank everyone here for being here tonight. I know I'm mindful of the clock. Mark your calendar for the fourth Thursday of the month in July. We'll be back at the Senior Center. We will have an editor, professional editor. Christina asked me to remind everyone, if you haven't already submitted a story, or even if you have, the August Trail Tales submission in the Senior Savvy newspaper. We have a deadline, I believe, of the 10th of the month of July, which is 2 weeks from now. So you want to be in the August edition and you have 700 and something words, let us know. Who was the last person who just submitted a story? Didn't you just? Megan, you did, right? So you're going to be in the July. Yeah, Megan's going to be in the July issue with a beautiful story, and 700 words, a picture, and usually it has something to do with not necessarily a transition, although it could, but it deals with your trail, your path in life. What is a story that grabbed your attention, whether that was a trail like the Greenway, or if it was a sidewalk in Dublin, Ireland, wherever the trail happens to take you, right? Share the story. And we have people that there's 3,000-4,000 people get that newspaper. It's a way to get your name out there, get yourself published if you haven't already been, and to let people know that you're serious about your craft. So I'm going to end the recording here, and I thank you, Bill, for being out there. Bill, did you have anything you wanted to share with the team before?
No, I just want to let Tommy know I'm enjoying his book, Shadowed by Fear. I've gotten started on it.
Okay. Well, thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
Did you have one more thing you wanted?
Yes. Okay. Dr. Cottrell, I purchased your book.
Oh, thank you.
And I would love you to sign it.
Oh, okay.
And I read the first amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. See you next time. See you July. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bill. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.